There are men who, because of their dedication to their country, we've come to revere, like Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. While these heroes are important to the foundation of our country, there are many women who empowered these men to succeed in their mission. One such woman was Abigail Adams, wife of patriot John Adams and mother of a second president, John Quincy Adams. Abigail Adams was born in 1744 into a family with strong Puritan traditions. She met John Adams when she was 16, and 3 years later they married. They had 3 sons and 1 daughter. I attempted in my research to understand how her upbringing in the strict Puritan traditions influenced her relationship to her family and her duty to her country. This can be seen in the letters she wrote to her family and friends. Her husband once told her to preserve her letters for future generations. She did not see the value of her letters the way he did. She was one of acute mind and had a keen eye for the events of the revolutionary times in which she lived. Abigail Adams had this subtle religious way of looking at her role in life. That role was as a public servant next to her husband and not in the shadow of her husband. Abigail and John Adams, after the first 10 years of marriage, would find that the state of affairs surrounding the American Revolution would keep them separated for the better part of the next 25 years. These years of separation were only made bearable because of her deep religious beliefs, and she never questioned the foundations of her faith. Her writings were strewn with religious and proverbial references. She once wrote of her strong love for her husband while he was away in Philadelphia serving as president. "I am ready and willing to follow my husband wherever he chooses, but the hand of heaven has arrested me. Adieu, my dear friend." She referred many times to her husband as her better half, as she did in a letter to Mercy Otis Warren. "I feel the absence of my better half in this time of distress." She was her husband's talented political advisor and confidant, and she wrote to him, "The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but the God of Israel is he that giveth the people and giveth strength and power unto his people. Trust in him at all times. Ye people, pour out your hearts before him. God is a refuge for us," referencing Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11. She attempted to pass her knowledge, beliefs, and sense of duty that the years of experience provided her. She would write to her son, John Quincy Adams, such ideas as, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself," Mark chapter 12, verse 31. "And every new mercy you receive is a new debt upon you, a new obligation to a diligent discharge of the various relations in which you stand connected. In the first place to your great preserver, in the next to the society in general, in particular to your country, to your parents, and to yourself." These quotes are from Wolfgang Meider's book, Proverbs Are the Best Policy. Again, writing to her son, she wrote, "Justice, humanity, and benevolence are the duties you owe to society in general. Be dutiful, my dear son. Be thoughtful. Be serious. Do not gather the thorns and thistles, but collect such a garland of flowers as will flourish in your native climate and bloom upon your brow with an unfading verdure." These sentiments are from the book Forgotten Founders on Religion and Public Life, edited by Daniel Jasbach. From the book Abigail Adams, Biography by Phyllis Lee Levin, you find this piece of advice she wrote to her son. "Improve your understanding for acquiring useful knowledge and virtue, such as will render you an ornament to society, an honor to your country, and a blessing to your parents. Great learning and superior abilities, should you ever possess them, will be of little value and small estimation unless virtue, honor, truth, and integrity are added to them. Adhere to those religious sentiments and principles which are early instilled into your mind, and remember that you are accountable to your Maker for all your words and actions. Let me enjoin it upon you to attend constantly and steadfastly to the precepts and instructions of your Father, as you value the happiness of your mother and your own welfare. In her letters to her son, you can see how she held to her Puritan beliefs and a sense of duty. According to Edith Gell's book, Adams defined her political role as a woman in domestic terms. She characterized the sacrifices she made by the upheaval in her marriage, her households, and her management of family life as her personal contributions to the creation of the country. There is much to say about this woman, Abigail Adams, more than can be said in this short time. However, her life was one of sacrifice which would not provide her rewards here on earth, but neither could they be measured by the world's standards. The legacy of Abigail Adams will be her religious beliefs and her sense of civic duty.